Welcome back to another episode of Julie Laughton Podcast. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 most common home remodeling mistakes, things you want to avoid.
Welcome to the Julie Laughton Living Podcast, the place to get advice, tips, and tricks to building the life and luxury home of your dreams with 30-year business owner, designer, and builder, Julie Laughton. It all starts with a good plan. This is Julie Laughton Living.
The first one is the same as number 1 on the 7 steps on my website. Do the research on your home before you buy it. And I'm talking research other than that inspection report the inspector does through the realtor. Do the other research, which is what can you build? What can't you build? Go down to the city and ask for real. Are there restrictions for this property, state, locally, whatever? Check the soils report. If you're on a hillside, dig deep. Find out what's under your property. Do you got granite right there? Are you sitting on a landslide? I mean, find out, because I've had a lot of interesting scenarios happen after a client pays for a property, and then I have to be the one to tell them the bad news that we can't build on this lot. And that sucks. I don't know any other way to say it, but you got to do the research by going to the city and checking out your lot, all the restrictions. So it's intense, but if you want more information about that, check out my 7 simple steps or call me and I'll let you know, because it's more than just the inspection report on the home. I also have another project. A couple bought this house, which is built in the 60s, and it's on the side of a cliff like this, and the house cantilevers out, and the house was rotting badly, but they loved it so much because it was a unique design from a famous architect, but it was rotting. And 7 contractors later who could not figure out how to fix this, and then they found me, and I figured out how to get it repaired, but it was $250,000 in temporary caissons to hold up the structure to allow them in to work on it. So I don't think they knew that when they bought the house, but we got it done. They love their home and they're happy, but no one told them that when they bought the house. So one of the biggest things, besides not buying something if you can't build on it, is be prepared when you start the remodel. What's your role as the client? You know, no one's going to do your job as the client. You got to know what's your role. And the contracts you sign with others usually outline that pretty clear. But the biggest tip is be prepared. Be prepared in life in general. Be ready for this because it's stressful. And then do your homework. So you got to pull your pictures. Know what you want. You don't have to know everything, but you just have to have a vision. And that I just tell clients to pull pictures. That's your only homework. We do the rest. But you have to be prepared to take the time to do it, because you might have to meet every week or every month. So you have a time commitment, but you just have to be prepared. Don't do it if you're stressed out and something else is happening in your life and you got other things to plan, because you got to be available. So that's my tip on that. Okay, the third thing to watch out for is who you're hiring. Because now that you've decided, I'm ready, I can do this, you got to hire people, right? If you don't hire me, you probably have to hire 7 different people. So when you hire those people, it's nice if they all know each other and then it's solved, right? But if you're hiring individual people, don't take them on face value. What they're telling you, you got to prove it. You know, call their references and find out what other people have to say about their experience with them, and check on their other jobs so you can see the quality of work. So don't hire people on face value. And then the other part of that is, once you hire them, kind of know the rules. You know, don't pay people in advance. There's rules to our business, and you should know those rules and ask what the rules are. But the rules are usually outlined in the contract. So if you read all the contracts, you're good. Do your homework. Do your research, which means call their references and read your contracts. That's your biggest tip, is check references and read the contracts. So if you don't hire me, like I said, you're going to have to hire 7 people and manage them. No one else realizes this, I guess, but I have become a one-stop shop out of necessity to help the client. So I do the architecture, the interior design, the custom kitchen design. I manage the landscape architect. I manage 7 engineers, structural, survey, civil, soils, Title 24, the fire sprinklers, the pool engineer. There's over 7 engineers involved in a custom home. And then all the city submittals that you have to go through. So now you got, the architect, the designer, the 7 engineers, the project manager. You're up to 11 people with the contractor that you'll have to manage at a minimum if you don't hire a one-stop shop. Number 4 is establish the ground rules of how you want to be communicated to. All of us have a process we follow. It's, A to Z, conception to completion, but you need to be communicated to on a regular basis. So you have to explain how you want to be communicated to and establish those ground rules day one. Because if you don't establish that, you might be getting massive emails you can't comprehend or text like, I can't follow this. So, we have an organized system of how we present to the client with daily photographs, weekly emails, and constant updates on the schedule. And it's all in writing, and there's a link the client can see all this. But the point is, if you don't establish how they're going to communicate with you, you could be like really regretting who you hired because it's just it's a miscommunication. So establish whether you want text, do you want email, do you want a voicemail, do you want a call, just one call a week. I mean, everybody's different, but you got to establish how you want to be communicated to day one. So the 5th rule and the thing to avoid is keep your partner involved from the beginnings. Because a lot of times I work with one of the couple and not the other, because maybe the one person's traveling and the other person is stay at home, or they're both busy. But if you have a partner or spouse, you need that person to be involved day one. I'm sorry, it just happened to me where the client, I started with one person and it got all the way through the design process and started construction, and the other person decided to pay attention. So what happens when they do that? They come to the job and look around. Oh, can you take out that ceiling? Oh, can you open up that wall? I don't like that. I want new windows. It was like 10, well, actually it was 20 change orders later in a couple months, and a lot of money added to the project just because the other half didn't want to pay attention during the design process because they were too busy. That's not good. If there's 2 people living in the home, spouse, partner, you got to start together, and you both have to be available together to go through the process together at the same time. It's one of my pet peeves because nobody wants to get surprised by the other half who just shows up and starts another process after we've already gotten halfway through the stuff. So yeah, that's another, don't do that. Thank you for joining me on another Julie Laughton podcast about how to avoid mistakes and pitfalls. I'm giving you my top 5, and you should pay attention. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you on the next one. Don't forget to check out my website and my 7 simple steps, because it makes your life easier. You can print it and download it and share it with your friends. And again, I hope to see you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Julie Laughton Living. For more information or to connect with Julie one-on-one, visit julielaughtonliving.com. And don't forget, it all starts with a good plan.